As the F1 2022 season quickly approaches, fans are naturally excited. With a huge amount of changes coming to the season, we can only wait to see how this latest season will play out. But there's other recent F1 news that fans might be unaware of. Recently, FxPro, a Forex broker, and McLaren Racing announced an extension to their partnership. Stick around to learn about this partnership as well as more news about the latest F1 season. FxPro and McLaren partnership. FxPro and McLaren first became partners back in 2020. Both companies state that they have extended their partnership due to the similarities between the two philosophies of the company, especially the prominence and largeness of both companies. Zach Brown, the CEO of McLaren Racing, said, "We look forward to continuing to use the global nature of Formula One to highlight this brand's position as the world's #1 online broker. Both companies are determined to reach the highest level of achievement in their fields. McLaren's car, the MCL35 from the 2020 Australian Grand Prix, will now feature prominent FxPro branding, signifying the continued workings between these two corporations." Mexican Grand Prix. The latest race to have been run in this season's Mexico Grand Prix. Verstappen won the race with a total of 25 points, having run the full 71 laps in a time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, 39 seconds. Although this season's lead has constantly been changing between the Mercedes and Red Bull teams, with Verstappen's win at Mexico, the Red Bull team has cemented their lead with a 19-point lead. Besides Verstappen, Hamilton placed in second and Perez came in at third. Hamilton came in at 18 points while Perez came in at 15 points. With the point advantage that Red Bull currently has, fans will have to wait until the Brazilian Grand Prix to see if they'll keep their lead. Schumacher and Mazepin signed on for another season. Two of the newest additions to the world of F1 racing are the new drivers Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. Both were signed on to the Uralkali team. There has been talks to move Schumacher to the Alfa Romeo team, but this has been confirmed to not be happening. Both Schumacher and Mazepin have had a rough first season, but this is to be expected by two completely new competitors. But fans and the team alike both expect the second season to be a better one as the racers become more comfortable with their car, their surroundings, and especially the new rule changes coming in the 2022 season. The last 4 races of 2021, before the Mexico Grand Prix, experts were unsure who would win the race between Mercedes and Red Bull, as the point difference between the two was minor and could still lead to a significant point difference in the favor of one team or the other. With Red Bull's current 12-point lead, however, it begs the question, will Red Bull maintain its current position? We can look to the next few races and get a couple of clues. The next races following Mexico will take place in Brazil, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia. With Brazil's elevation, Red Bull will likely have an advantage going in, which could keep their lead. Qatar and Saudi Arabia are different, however, as they are in both new tracks. Qatar doesn't seem to lend an advantage to either team, while the Saudi Arabia race seems to favor Mercedes with its low drag. The last race of the season, however, is at Abu Dhabi, which has historically been a win for Mercedes. However, after Red Bull did surprisingly well at the track last year, it's difficult to say whether Mercedes will maintain its winning streak at Abu Dhabi. Kimi Raikkonen's retirement. Kimi Raikkonen, a Finnish driver for the Alfa Romeo team, recently announced he would be retiring from the sport of F1 via an Instagram post. Such a retirement was fitting for the elusive driver, as there were no interviews or long-winded speeches, but a simple post online. He had driven in F1 for 2 decades, and fans had long seen his retirement coming. It's said that Alfa Romeo will be replacing Raikkonen with another seasoned Finnish driver, Valtteri Bottas. Although it's stated that Bottas will be joining Alfa Romeo, that's not the only team that wants the Finn to drive for them. Williams has shown interest in signing him on, but it seems unlikely he'll end up signing on with them over Alfa Romeo. The Chinese Grand Prix. Although the Chinese Grand Prix isn't on the 2021 or 2022 race schedule, there's a large and continually growing F1 fan base in the Asian country, and as such, the desire for F1 to return to China is high. F1 recently signed a contract, however, that will keep F1 racing in China until 2025. The organization states that they'll return to China as soon as conditions allow for it. So far, we've covered the recent Mexican Grand Prix, the retirement of famous drivers, as well as the continued careers of some more recent additions to F1's roster. It's only fitting so much is happening in the sport, especially with the upcoming colossal changes the sport will see in the next season. But that's not the only news to come out of F1. There are talks of other racers leaving the sport. What the 2022 calendar will look like and the transfer of team members. Be sure to stick around to learn even more exciting F1 news. The historical 23 Grand Prix schedule. The 2022 F1 season is notable for many reasons, namely due to the huge rule shift that the sport is stated to undertake during the next season. Another thing that sets the 2022 season apart from other seasons, however, is the absolutely huge amount of races the season will have. 23 races in total. F1 recently released the 2022 schedule and fans can expect the following in the next season. First race will be held in Bahrain on March 20th and end at Abu Dhabi on November 20th, 1 month before Christmas. After Bahrain, the next race will take place in Saudi Arabia. Following Saudi Arabia is Australia, then Emilia-Romagna, and Miami. Miami is notable because the two first races in the US will both be held in Miami. After Miami is Spain, Monaco, Azerbaijan, Canada, the UK, Austria, France, Hungary, Belgium, and the Netherlands, Italy, Russia, Singapore, Japan, the US, Mexico, Brazil, and finally ending at Abu Dhabi. Fans will surely have a lot of content to enjoy in this next season. Antonio Giovinazzi's future. Antonio Giovinazzi, a longtime driver for the Alfa Romeo team, has been anxious lately over his future within F1. Talks have been going around of him being removed from the team and possibly being replaced with Bottas or some other driver. Alfa Romeo said it's in no rush to announce its newest team member, and it's completely uncertain whether or not that new driver will be Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi, since he began racing back in 2017, has always had a relatively uncertain future within F1. Something that might ultimately influence Romeo's decision as to whether to keep Giovinazzi or not was his decision to seemingly disobey orders back at a race in Istanbul, where he didn't swap positions with Kimi Raikkonen. Giovinazzi says any tensions between him and Romeo have since dissipated, but only time will tell whether or not he remains on the team. Gasly has been one of the most dominant racers in the 2021 season, earning points for the AlphaTauri team in 10 of the 14 races he's run. Despite the struggles of fellow team member Yuki Tsunoda, Gasly has helped to keep AlphaTauri competitive enough to remain on the podium for this season. There had been talks of Gasly potentially returning to Red Bull, however, that idea was debunked. Red Bull has extended Sergio Perez's contract, and AlphaTauri has stated that Gasly will remain signed on with them. The Red Bull team has stated, however, that the possibility for Perez to rejoin is at least still there. Perez was demoted from the Red Bull team following a series of underwhelming races. Yet after this season, he's more than redeemed himself. But with the current talent the Red Bull team has signed on, Perez's return to Red Bull will remain pure speculation. Toto Wolff, principal for Mercedes, says Mexico went to plan. Toto Wolff, the team principal for the Mercedes team, recently made some interesting statements. The team leader stated that although Mexico was never in the bag for the Mercedes team, their most recent loss still plays into their advantage. Wolff stated that although they never went to the Mexico Grand Prix, their team still went forwards by winning P2, while the Red Bull team went backwards. He also states that they will have a better chance in the Brazil Grand Prix, saying they'll have a car that's more competitive against the Red Bull car. Wolff believes that despite Mexico and potentially Brazil, they can close the score gap in the last 3 races and come away with the victory. Qatar and Saudi Arabia do seem to pose at least some advantage to the Mercedes team, but the accuracy of Wolff's prediction remains to be seen. The Brazil Grand Prix is on the 14th of November, so fans have to wait until they can see the fate of the Mercedes team. So there you have it, the latest news and happenings from the 2021 F1 season. As you can see, Red Bull's currently leading the competition after their win at the Mexico Grand Prix, with the Mercedes team closely behind them. However, there is more going on behind the scenes as drivers are being exchanged and removed. 2022 season begins to come to fruition. Fans can surely look forward to the 2022 season. So what do you think? Are you excited for the latest season? Leave your comments below. Thank you for watching.